What is going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back here to another episode and the last episode of UFC Card Talk for 2023. My name is Damien, and if you are new to this UFC card channel here at UFC Card Talk, I like to talk about everything to do with UFC cards, from both collecting to investing, and then also recent UFC card hobby news. This week's episode, it's going to be a mixed bag of goodies. I'm going to be quickly talking about UFC Immaculate release. It's coming out in a week's time. We also have my 2023 lessons in review. And then also I want to quickly talk about my outlook for 2024 and with Topps taking over the UFC license. If you are new to this UFC card channel, if you like UFC cards, if you like anything to do with your cards, I would suggest that you do hit that like button. And then if you want to subscribe, it would really help me out as a relatively small UFC card channel. And then there is a notification bell because I do weekly UFC card related videos. So if you hit that notification bell, it will let you know every time I do a new video. Starting off with the Immaculate release, we did just have the Dutch auction end for the first off the line boxes. Those first off the line boxes did bottom out at $502. Whether that was a good buy price or not, I'm not sure. Obviously, that's up for you guys to decide when ripping these boxes. Personally, obviously, I will not be ripping any of these hobby boxes. My outlook on Immaculate, for those of you who care, is really not that positive, especially because it's the only real high-end product that we have for UFC cards from Panini, and it's meant to be that real high-end product that you would have and you would expect to have really solid on-card autos, relics that just blow your mind, whether they're, fight used glove relics, fight used matte relics, event worn shirts, things like that. But unfortunately for Panini Immaculate UFC, at least, I can't speak for the other sports, but Panini Immaculate UFC, they have really not, I don't think, in my own opinion, sort of provided those. The relics just state that the authenticity of the relics are guaranteed by Panini, whatever that means. It has no specific details about the shirt, the canvas, the glove, whatsoever. It might just say fighter worn, if at best, really, which, as I've said before, I know I could sound like I'm wearing a tin hat.
Stress? Okay? I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress?
But it really is just not very specific, and it could literally mean anything. Fighter worn, which fighter wore it? I mean, there's 500 and 600 fighters on the UFC roster. So just because it says fighter worn doesn't specifically mean it was the fighter whose picture's even on the card. As I said, call me a hater, call me someone who's being negative, whatever, but that's just my view on it. And as a collector, part of my collecting style is I want stuff that I know is basically guaranteed to be the proper relic, because the difference is we have had relics in the past, and not only with UFC cards, but other relics, and it is very specific. It says this fight mat, for example, was used in UFC 202, someone versus someone, or like whatever. Like even the shirt, I've heard in other sports, haven't seen, but I've heard in other sports, it will, like game used jerseys, it will say this jersey was worn by Michael Jordan in game 2 of the 1996 final series, whatever. Like, obviously I understand that there is hurdles, there's authenticity issues when it comes to doing these relics, but like they've done it before, and the fact they're not doing it now, I think is a real problem, and that's where my worry begins with it. So, and not only that, as I said, the relics aren't specific. You would expect that every card from an Immaculate product, or most card, 90% of the cards would be on-card autos. There is just not that from Immaculate at all. Half the autos, if not more than half, are actually still sticker autos, and it makes no sense what products they put these sticker autos on. You could have a product, you could have a card, say it's the Premier Pieces numbered to 99. They put that as an on-card auto, and then some of the gold products are sticker autos. So I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Not a fan of it. The other big caveat for this year for Panini UFC, which I think is really what's going to be the only driver for this product, is that Bo Nickel has finally signed with Panini. They obviously got his money. He obviously got his money. He's happy now. He had redemptions in Panini Prism. Whether they got fulfilled or not, I have no idea. But it was released by Bo Nickel himself on his own social media that he has signed with Panini now for Immaculate. So you can imagine the hottest prospect from 2023 for Panini UFC has now got on-card autos. That is a big deal. So credit where credit's due there. Panini got that one done. And that, for me, will only be the only reason I think why people will be buying 2023 Immaculate for UFC. And that is because Bo Nickel, even in this downtime, has proven to be the only guy who is still selling, not only in large volume, but for large amounts as well. So he's obviously the unicorn for 2023 UFC, and on-card autos for him is a big deal. So good luck to you guys who are ripping that product. Obviously, be interested to see some of the box rips. And as I said, it will be released at this stage, January 5th, so about a week from now. Also, before I get to my lessons and tips from how I have personally learned from 2023, I do want to just do a quick little upcoming videos. I was actually hoping to do another mail day to end the year off. I was hoping to have all my PC cards here and be able to show maybe a top 10 of my PC cards. That video will obviously be put on hold just because I have not received that mail yet, but that will be early next year. I also do have next week actually a very, very exciting UFC card community conversation that all of you guys are going to want to check out. Super excited to show that one to you guys. And then obviously we will have another collab coming up with Zach from Box Alarm Trading leading into UFC 297. Now, my lessons, my personal lessons from 2023. This is just like my advice, guys, my tips. Take what you want. Don't listen to any of it all. Feel free. It's completely fine. As I said, this is just what I want to relay to you guys, for those of you guys who care. And I'm going to start with something that has been a personal struggle for me all this year is, number one, don't buy cards just because they're a good deal. Now, what I mean by this, that might sound counterintuitive, but what I mean by that is you don't want to just have all these saved eBay searches and buy cards sort of impulsively because you think that, oh, wow, that's a really good price for a card. Whether you think it's a good price now comparative to where it could be in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months time, a year, even 5 years, to have that mentality of I've got to buy this card now just because I think it's a good price now will really get your head spinning and your wallet empty. And then it obviously will leave place for regret because once you've actually outlaid the money, it's one thing to find a card and think it's a good deal and get excited about potentially winning the card, but then it's another thing to actually have won that card and actually have paid for that card when reality kicks in that situation and you realize that you may have just made a mistake buying a card that maybe you didn't even particularly want, of a fighter who you don't even particularly like, but you thought it was a good deal, so you had to get it. And then once you get it, you think, what the hell have I just done? And the other addition to this is prices have just been falling the past 12 months. There was cards this time last year, January, February, March, April, May, June last year, or this year, should I say, that I thought were great pricing. And we've just seen losses since then. We've seen gradual decline since then. So that's the other caveat to this point is just because you think a price is good now and it's a deal now, chances are it could be cheaper in a few more months' time. Leading off that point, lesson number 2 is I've found it really useful in the past month, and I've known about this for a long time, but I didn't really actually do it, is to write down a specific wish list, whether it's for the PC or whether it's even cards that you want to buy in order to hold some value because you think that, that card's going to increase in value, whether the fighter's fighting in a few months or whatever the reason is. So it doesn't necessarily apply to just PC cards. It could apply to cards that you're looking for inventory as well, but write down specific wish list of cards that you want to obtain. That way you have visual proof and visual confirmation of where you should be putting your hobby dollars, because 99% chance you're just like me and money is not infinite, and we only have a selective budget that we use to spend for these cards. So as I said, if you have written down a specific wish list for either PC cards or cards that you want to buy to hold on to for a store of value, whatever the reason is, write those cards down, and that way it will keep you more directed, it will keep you less distracted, and you won't end up, as I said, back to point number one, buying these cards that you just think are a good deal only to regret it in the near future. So tip number 2, write a specific list of cards that you want, and that way it'll give you a steady direction of where to put your hobby dollars moving forward. And the last one, the last lesson tip I want to say is to make hobby friends. Now, this sounds super cliche, I understand that, but it really is true, and it's really made a difference for me, especially in the last 12 months. Obviously, midway through the year, I had this idea to start doing UFC card community conversations as a part of my channel content. They are hands down, along with the collabs that I do with Zach and Box Alarm Trading, they are hands down my favorite videos to make, just because there's something special about sort of getting to know, meeting people who you would never, ever in another lifetime met if you hadn't had this common interest of UFC cardboard. And then obviously, like-minded people who have this like-minded hobbies, tend to find other common interests which can extend outside of just sports cards and UFC cards in general. So, and it just makes all the difference, because a lot of us, especially in the UFC card community, we don't have that many people in our day-to-day lives who share the same passion for collecting cards that we do or whatever. So it's nice to have those connections inside the hobby, and it's really one of those things that you get out what you put in. And it actually sounds easy for me to, it sounds easier to say. It sounds easier to say than what it is to do. Just go out and make hobby friends. It's not simple. And then one thing I would say is to find new hobby friends. The best thing you can do is just be genuine to yourself, because I think that hobby people in general with sports cards, they're a little bit more skeptical. I guess you need to be skeptical when it comes to talking and meeting new people online, but if you're not being your true self, if you're not being a genuine person, I think you're going to get it found out pretty quickly, and then obviously you're only going to get yourself burned at the end of the day. So I would just advise people to go out, try and make new hobby friends, whether it's through Instagram, whether it's in the comments here at YouTube, however you guys want to do it, card shows, whatever. Just be genuine, be yourself, and trust me, you will make some new hobby friends, which just adds that extra special element to the hobby that we all enjoy. All right, to finish off this video now, I do want to go over my expectations for UFC cards in 2024. Now, I'll keep this short and sweet just because no one really knows what's going to happen. We can only all speculate at the moment. Speculating's fun. At least I enjoy speculating. But what I would like to, my expectations for 2024 is, obviously, there's no official announcement. We have seen numerous UFC athletes now signing Topps sticker sheets. So it is pretty well confirmed that Topps, and we also did have Michael Rubin on the recent Bill Simmons sports podcast. He was interviewed, and he did actually say, I don't know if he meant to or not, but he let it slip that they do have UFC cards coming out next year. So as I said, it's all but confirmed now. Hearing it from the CEO's mouth of Fanatics through Topps would make it pretty legit as it needs to be. But what I'm expecting, I'm honestly, I can't help but feel not that ecstatic about what I was with Topps UFC coming back to begin with. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm super excited. I actually don't think I'm as excited as I thought I was originally going to be. As I said, no official announcement yet. Maybe that'll make a little bit of a difference. But for me at the moment, I'm not. I don't know. I sort of feel like I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines, especially for the first few releases. Topps Chrome is what the release that's been leaked so far for UFC. So I guess a premier product like Topps Chrome, I really don't know what else we would see next year. I'm not saying that I think Topps Chrome would be the only release for UFC for 2024, but it would make sense if Topps, they haven't had the license for 3 years. The market sort of had that boom when they lost the license, and then now it's died back off again, especially in a more niche sport like UFC. So I think it would make sense for me if Topps are going to gauge the market for UFC. And I don't think they're going to pump out too many products, at least in 2024 to begin with. I think they want to going to suss out the market, see what the demand's like, obviously put out a flagship product like Topps Chrome that will get people excited. We might see new innovation within Topps Chrome that they're going to have with other sports for UFC as well. So I think there will be hype around Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome are a well-loved product in general. We're going to see some older collectors who have been on the sidelines with Panini. I think they're going to jump back on the field. They're going to get into the play. We're going to see people who are only familiar with Panini products, UFC. They might be a little bit hesitant because I feel like Topps Chrome is a long ways from where Panini and the inserts that Panini were doing. Whether they get excited or not, whether they're hesitant, I don't know. But I don't know what else, like it would make sense if we had like a museum product as well for UFC next year. But I would literally be I would honestly be surprised we saw more than 2 releases. There could be 3. I lean more towards 2 than 3. I really think that Topps fanatics are going to want to gauge the UFC demand first before they start just putting out all these products, especially for their first year back. So I would expect to see Topps Chrome. And then what else we got? We might see Knockout. They might bring a specific UFC card product back, which would get a lot of other people excited again. Something that's a bit different. Obviously with museum, we've seen museum cards. So I'm gonna predict. I don't think they bring Finest back this year. I mean, next year. I would really Finest for Sean O'Malley is the only card that would really be chasing. It's going to be cool to see all the Panini rookies from the last 3 years with Topps Chrome, but there's none that I'm really that excited for just now in particular. I think Bo Nickel, providing how he goes at UFC 300, I think he's still going to be the chase for 2024 as well. There's going to be a handful of new rookies, but I think Bo Nickel is still going to be one of the bigger guys in the product just because he has just really he's really driven the market this year. So yeah, I think we see Topps Chrome. We also may see Knockout. I don't think, honestly, I'm putting it down now. I think we see 2 products next year from Topps for UFC. Maybe 3. Definitely not more than 3. If it's more than 3, then just smash me in the comments because I deserve for putting it out. But I'm confident. I really don't think we see more than 3 products for Topps UFC next year. And if we do, as I said, jump back on this video and just roast me in the comments. That's completely fine. But and then as I said, like I don't know. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines a bit. I don't know what to expect with Topps. Yeah, Topps Chrome again, how Topps going to do it. I think it's really going to be interesting to have the branding / marketing power behind Fanatics, how they're going to team up with the UFC. Both of those companies are interested in making money and they could do so through these trading cards. Obviously, bigger marketing power, more eyes on a product is going to generate more new people into our hobby, which is typically only a good thing. Whether we see, I mean, as for pricing, see, where's pricing going to be at for Topps Chrome? We really need that at the moment. I think Topps Chrome mixed with the return of Conor McGregor at some point next year. I know I keep talking about Conor McGregor's return, but like he's just that guy. Conor McGregor is that guy who is the tide that lifts all boats when it comes to UFC card market. I think Conor McGregor's buzz return with the added of a new UFC product that we haven't seen for 4 years, since 2019 in Topps Chrome, with the added marketing of Topps and Fanatics. It could be, as I said, it could be massive. Could be massive. As for myself, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'm hoping that I can get some gold prisms. I'm going to look where they're not, and I'm going to be looking back at gold prisms, because if we want to go that far into the future, I think that gold prisms in general, they are going to be very sorted after cards. Obviously not for every fighter but I'm still going to only buy fighters who I want for gold prisms. I'm not just going to go out buying any gold prisms, but I think 3 years of Panini, regardless of what you think about Panini, regardless of what you think what they did with UFC, with overprinting, too many parallels, bad quality control, whatever, gold prisms they are what they are, and they are a very desirable, nice looking card that if we only have 3 years of gold prisms comparatively now to however many years of Topps products, I think that's going to be something that collectors, including myself, who prioritize rarity, scarcity, and want to own something that is like desirable, which gold prisms are, make no mistake. I think that's what I'm going to be trying to focus on in 2024. I did a list of cards. A wish list I wanted for 2023, the start of this year, and I literally picked up none of those cards. Picked up none. So that's why I'm not doing a 2024 wish list, just because I know what I'm like. I still want some of those cards. There are 2 cards. There is a Sean O'Malley Silver Flashback Prism from 2022 that I want to pick up, and the 2021 Orange Prism from 2021 for Sean O'Malley. Those were on the wish list. I still want those, make no mistake, but the rest of the cards, I'm no interest in those now. So no point doing a wish list. But that's where the direction of my hobby is going to be, at least for the start of 2024. Sitting on the sidelines at the moment, not really buying so much. I had a crazy period the last 4 months or so buying just cards, and yeah, makes for great mail days. I'm going to have a massive mail day coming up where basically going to see all my cards. Once you've seen that mail day, you would have seen all my cards for my PC. So, and then as I said, I'll do a recap in a following video of my top favorite 10 cards in upcoming videos. But yeah, my 2024, sitting on the sidelines a bit at least for the first quarter of the year. I'll keep you guys updated with what I'm doing, as I always do with these videos. I may turn around and say, hey, Topps Chrome is the best thing ever. Buy. I'm buying. You should be buying. Like, no, obviously not going to tell you guys what to buy, but you know what I mean. We'll see. I'll sit out the first quarter. We'll see what happens with releases. In the meanwhile, guys, I appreciate all the support. Another year down. This is my first year of doing a video every single week for a whole year. I started in September 2022. Super proud of just my own achievements, regardless of what you guys think about the videos, regardless of the views, regardless of how many subscribers I got. I love communicating with you guys, whether it's in the comments here on Instagram. I think we have such a great bunch of people, a part of the community, and it makes all the difference. Definitely helps motivate me and just helps me sort of feel good about what I'm doing, I guess. But the other thing is, as I said, I'm just personally proud. This is a lot of work. I'm starting to rumble on now, but it really is. And obviously, you guys, you are the content creators out there who make videos, whether it's consistently, whether it's when you can. Like, this is a lot of work, you guys. And yeah, as I said, I feel really good about just having made a video every single week for a year. That is an achievement I'm super proud of. We'll get the YouTube play button up there one day, guys, because I guarantee you I'll still be making videos. Whether you're watching or not, I'll still be making videos for myself to laugh at. Hopefully you guys get a laugh out of them too. That's going to do it for this week's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Once again, Happy New Year, guys. Thank you for the support this year. I hope 2024 is an amazing year for all you guys out there and girls. And yeah, see you in 2024.
Stress? You want to talk about stress? Okay? I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress? What the hell are you talking about? This company is being bled like a stuck pig, Mac, and I got a paper trail to prove it. Check this out. Take a look at this.
Jesus Christ,
That right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? Pepe Sylvia, this name.